Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Friday, November the 13th. Ooh, is race number 7 at Del Mar. Let's throw up the field for the spooky feature race. It is an optional claimer, 62.5, non-winners of 2 other than. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. Mike, this is a really interesting group. You've got some up-and-comers. You've got a horse and gray magician who's got some class on the dirt trying turf for the first time. And then you've got some old class masters dropping, looking for the right spot.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of horses coming from different directions here. And it feels like, for the most part, Dan, the horses, if they show up and all run their best race, their top figures are at a pretty tight range. So this could be a pretty interesting race.
We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector. I agree with this pace projector. I do think the 4 Caliente, who's versatile, but won on the lead last time out, probably can make the lead if he is pushed out of there from the stalls. Murad Khan in one of the drop downs. The number 1 does have some tactical speed, and I'd expect him perhaps to be sitting in the pocket. I think Gray Magician might be the key to this race from a pace standpoint because he has shown speed on dirt.
Yeah, that's true. Great Magician, I suppose, could get forward. The real question with him is, whether or not he'll handle turf at all. I guess if he does, he's a contender, Dan. But I agree with you. I think Caliente will probably make his way to the lead here.
The number 1, Murad Khan, was restricted stakes placed at Del Mar during the summer meeting, and he just seems to fit well at these optional claiming ranks. He's going to dip in for the 62.5. Doug O'Neill took him for 50 in the beginning of the year. He's done very well with him. And considering the horse's tactical speed, considering his Beyer speed figure earned 2 starts back at Del Mar, he just is a nice fit from a class perspective. I think he's a strong contender.
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense from a lot of different perspectives. He's got the figures. He's got a great post with tactical speed. And he's probably just back in the right race here since O'Neill claimed him for 50. He's run him twice in non-stakes races. He won a 5.5 furlong sprint for this claiming tag and then 2 starts back. As you mentioned before the layoff, he ran a really good second to big score that day.
It's a shame we haven't seen the 2 Barristan the Bold since the middle of January. This is a really long layoff. I thought he showed a little bit of potential in his first 2 starts in North America. His first race off of a little bit of a layoff, he ran into Mo Forza in the Mathis Brothers Mile. That horse, when he's right, is one of the better turf milers in Southern California. And last time out, he was in against Originaire, a horse that came back to earn a 100 Beyer speed figure and winning a 2X, and then ran second in the Grade 2 Whittingham. So he kept some good company before the layoff. I wonder if he'll need a race.
Yeah, that was my concern. He did the last time we saw him, they ran him in this condition. He ran very well. That was actually a better field than this one for this level. And he just wasn't good enough to beat that field, but he ran pretty well then. He was in contention down past mid-stretch. We'll see what we get off the layoff. I didn't want to bet him off the layoff against this field, but I realized that he could be a major player if he runs this good race.
The number 3, Tartini, has won 3 of his last 4 starts. Let's watch Tartini's most recent race at Del Mar during the summer meeting on August the 9th. And he got a little bit of pace to run at in here, Mike. It wasn't really a strong field going 1 mile and 3/8, but I thought for this distance, the pace was actually okay. You're going to see him finish up to defeat a horse named 5-Star Lynch, who would come back to win a 1X with an 87 Beyer. Now, this race was at 1 mile and 3/8. The good news for Tartini fans is he's really versatile from any kind of a distance standpoint.
Yeah, that's true. Cutting back and running shorter here is not going to bother this horse at all. I guess we'll just see if he's good enough, Dan. He's getting a trainer change for this after getting on a pretty good run in his last, the last time we saw him over the summer. I don't know. I respect that he's in good form. I just felt like he might have found himself in a little bit tough against some of these horses.
It does appear he is stepping up significantly in class. The 4 is Caliente, another horse stepping up. This horse has won 3 out of his last 4. Blinkers and stretching out on the turf has really helped this horse. Let's watch his most recent race at Santa Anita on September the 27th. He got a nice, easy trip on the lead in here. He was able to clear off to the inside, and they just could not catch him. He earned a career best 90 Beyer speed figure. He's lightly raced enough that we perhaps can project a forward move, and he has the tactical speed to work out a good trip. I like how he's been managed, Mike. They haven't been too aggressive with him. They've stepped him up incrementally in class. He's probably going to have to improve a little bit against this tougher field.
He probably is going to have to. That's how I looked at him anyway. But he certainly has the potential to do that. He's a very lightly raced horse, and he feels like he's getting better all the time. Listen, he won very easily last time with a really soft trip on the lead. But 2 starts back, he didn't make the lead, and he won that race easily as well. So it just seems like he's in good form right now. Listen, we'll see what kind of price he is, Dan. It feels like he could take money in here, and I wouldn't want too short a price on this horse, but I won't be surprised if he improves again.
The 5, Gray Magician, tries turf for the first time. He's had a nice career on dirt, a stakes winner, second in the UAE Derby on dirt in 2019. His dam was a nice turf horse. She was sort of a mile stakes horse on the turf. I believe she won a stakes race in Southern California. Don't really sure I love the gray dars on the grass, but this horse, again, if he can somehow transfer that dirt form to the turf, he fits.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he can do it. I would be willing to bet that he's not going to do it. You're right. His dam was a good turf horse, but the Gradars are awful on the grass. And this horse has a full brother named Lambo, who's a really good dirt horse, Dan. And they've tried that horse 3 times on turf. The results are not good. I'm gonna expect Gray Magician to be better on the main track.
Salvatore Mundi turns back in distance and class, and I think that's going to really help his chances. He was in against United last time out. United went into the Breeders' Cup as the leading turf horse in Southern California. He really was just overmatched that day. I liked what I saw from him 2 starts back at Del Mar, going a mile and a 16th from off the pace. And I think that's the kind of trip he's going to get here. He was chasing United last time out, and that just didn't work out.
Yeah, I'm not going to, hold the last race against him. I thought under the circumstances, he probably did the best that he could do in that kind of a race. I really liked his form earlier this year, though, Dan, when they brought him back from the layoff. I think this horse has improved significantly since Phil D'Amato claimed him. And his 3 starts back from the layoff, he ran really well in all of those. And he showed really good tactical speed as well. I think he's going to get a good trip in this race. And I think he's a really nice fit.
He should be a nice price as well. This is a horse that doesn't really seem to get bet too much. He was 6-1 in the John Henry, but I think he could go off around the 4-1, 9-2 range in here. The 7 is Untamed Domain for John Sadler. This is a horse, well, it's been a long time between trips to the winner's circle ever since he won the Grade 2 Summer back in 2017. Just really has never panned out. Let's watch his most recent start at this level at Santa Anita. You're going to see him in the familiar West Point silks on the outside, black hat, yellow silks. It takes him a while to get going. Once he does, he finally does kick into gear and get up for second. He's the kind of horse that needs a little bit of pace help and some racing luck as well.
Yeah, he's going to need some pace to set up his late run. I guess he ran fine in there to get up for second. I actually felt like he ran better 2 starts back over this course and distance. He got a little bit of a crazy ride that day where they rated him back early and then just made an early wide middle move to go up and duel the pace. And it feels like that probably cost him 2 starts back. But still, he's just got to be really hard to take on top 10. It seems like he never wins. I would use him underneath.
Musawat, the number 8, was more of a dirt horse when running in Dubai. He did run with blinkers a few times, and he's getting blinkers on here. He was 4th in the Godolphin Mile in 2018. Since he's come to North America, he has been more of a turf horse. Last time out, kind of an even performance, Mike, going a mile and an 1/8. I thought the trip was decent for him in that spot. I think he's the kind of horse at a giant price that's not out of it from a sort of underneath standpoint.
I can see using him underneath perhaps. I didn't think he was good enough to beat this field. And out of the last race that he's exiting there, I'd probably rather have Untamed Domain than this horse.
Untamed Domain not only finished ahead of the 8 Musawat, but also the 9 Kazan, who was making his second start off the claim. He was taken for $40,000 out of a winning effort at Del Mar. He was kind of buried down inside in that race. Maybe he didn't have the cleanest trip, but looking at his overall form, he just has to take a step forward from a speed figure standpoint. I wonder if he's just slightly class compromised.
Right. That's how I looked at him. We'll see. He's going to be a big price in here. So if you found a reason to like him, you should probably just bet him. I didn't think he had enough of an excuse in his last race, though, to make me want to play him against this field.
Cleopatra Strikes getting significant class relief. He has been racing in graded stakes races in his last 6 tries, including a victory in the 2019 John Henry Turf Championship. His last 2 races, to me, though, just weren't very good. I thought the San Marcos was okay with a good trip where he made United run, but that race was back in February. It preceded a layoff. I'm willing to forgive the American 2 starts back, a race in which he was wired by Blitzkrieg. There was just no pace going on. I just didn't like the Eddie Reed. Maybe he was in way too tough.
Yeah, I guess he was, but you're right, though. It would have been nice to see him run a little bit. His last 2 races aren't great. I mean, you are dealing with a horse. It feels like any one of the races he ran between January 2019 and February 2020, that whole 13-month span there. If he ran one of those, he would just be a handful in here. But I don't know, man. Even with the drop in class, I felt like he was pretty tough to like too much in this race, and he has to be some kind of short price.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Friday DRF race of the day. Mike likes Salvatore Mundi. I liked his race 2 starts back. I liked the closing style that they employed that day. I think he was taken out of his element against a much better horse last time out. He might offer some nice odds.
Yeah, I like this horse in this race. I think he's going to run well. I think he's really improved for D'Amato, and the horses who feel like they're going to be the shorter prices on the morning line just don't do a lot for me, Dan. I'd much rather bet Salvatore Mundi.
I like Caliente's upside. I have to admit, he did get a very soft trip last time out. He's going to have to improve. Murad Khan's very interesting. I want to use a lot of him in any kind of multiple race wagers. Just seems like a nice fit from a trip standpoint and a class perspective as well. Mike's going 6-1-7-10. I'm going 4-1-2-6. It's the Friday the 13th race of the day, and it's Del Mar, race number 7.